destructive, regrettable, criminal, a fad of youth, unprofessional. According to media reports, these are the words that you'll commonly hear today when you hear someone talk about tattoos who's generally opposed to tattoos. According to the most recent data from the Department of Defense, 41% of 18 to 34-year-olds have at least one tattoo, and 27% have more than one tattoo. So then the question today is, why in today's society do we consider the tattoo as something that's unprofessional? If you look at your workplace policy and you dig deep and you look at your tattoo policies, what will you find? Will you find that a tattoo is generally labeled as unprofessional? Good evening, my name is Stephen Boyd, and as a member of the United States Army, well, I'm here today to tell you why I believe and how the Army supports my belief that the tattoo, well, it should no longer be labeled as something that can make somebody unprofessional. Before we begin, it's important to remember to go back in history a little bit and learn more about the tattoo. It's important that we know and understand why American culture today labels the tattoo as unprofessional, and how really, historically speaking, the tattoo was never meant to be something unprofessional. 5,000 years ago, people were getting tattoos. It was a physical representation of a culture that showed power according to our historical records. Today, according to market research by Amazon, well, tattoos are a physical representation of our modern day beliefs. Now, while some agree and align with these beliefs, others can probably be vehemently opposed to said beliefs. You know, American culture, historically speaking, over the last few hundred years, it's been very dominated by Christian ideology. And Christian ideology generally states that the body is a temple, that the body is not supposed to be something that we intentionally would destroy. Recent Pew research, well, it states that tattoos, while still seen as taboo, right? They're still seen as something kind of rebellious by nature, but tattoos are generally they're generally more and more being considered as something that we can do professional. Tattoos or body modifications are generally something that we can demonstrate as our own professionalism, while still being able to maintain our own self-identity. The United States Department of the Army, well, they agree. As of June 23rd of this year, the Army changed their regulation, Army Regulation 670-1, which is their grooming and appearance policy. They decided to relax the standards on tattoos. So now they will allow visible tattoos on the hands, the backs of the neck, and even behind the ear. Now, the Army has traditionally been a reflection of American culture. Back in 1990, in the late 1990s, President Bill Clinton passed an executive order that said in the military, there's a policy we call don't ask, don't tell. Now, this was in regards with homosexuality in the military. At the time, culturally speaking, it was a very hot topic item. People didn't really want to talk about it. But in the military, they made this policy that said you don't ask and we don't tell. That was 10 years before Congress decided to pick up this topic, this idea of same-sex marriage, and potentially push it into the law that it is today. The United States Army was 10 years ahead of the reflection of the societal changes that was happening at the times. And that's what we're seeing today. We're seeing today this change in AR 670-1, this Army regulation, grooming and appearance policy. We're seeing this change where the Army is saying, you know what? We see the tattoo as something that is professional. Tattoos today are an extension of our identity. According to biological researchers, health risks from professionally obtained tattoos, well, they're less and less risky. They're less and less dangerous than they used to be. This risk mitigation, it allows us to express ourselves through body modification and still maintain professionalism in the workplace. 50 years ago, the tattoo was seen as a detriment to America's professional. We would never even consider destroying or damaging our body in such a way to demonstrate unprofessionalism. Well, today this cultural mentality has shifted, and more Americans are professionally expressing themselves. The Army agrees. If your workplace, it generally will discriminate against tattoos, I call on you to reach out to your HR professional. Change your workplace policies. Be that person that says, you know what, I can express myself. I can add something to my body and still be professional. The U.S. Army agrees. They allow tattoos, so you can say, why then don't we? Today, I hope you've learned a little bit about the policies with tattoos with regards to the United States Army. I hope you've learned a little bit about the history, and I hope that you're able to take this idea, this mentality, and push your workplace to help change the tattoo, change this concept of professionalism in a workplace, and how the tattoo can allow us to express ourselves while still being a professional. Thank you so much for your time today, and have a great evening.